Hello everyone, the Carlos here, and today guys I'm gonna review one of the last Hero Factory set I have to review, and of course it's one of the two Remaining Titan sets. Well, yesterday I reviewed already the Furnoback, and the previous day I had already reviewed Von Nebula and Water, so the last set I have to review, except for the special edition set called Bulk and Water, but not Water, excuse me, but Vapor, which I don't really own at the present time. So the review today, guys, excuse me for the little disturbance, is the Dropship. So of course I have to adjust my webcam. So of course the box is quite big, and of course it's quite the same as the other box. So this means we're gonna have the Lego Hero Factory logo right here, the H logo in yellow-orange color, because of course the yellow, which is of course all yellow this time, not kit orange but all yellow, is one of the main color of the Dropship. So here you can see of course the magnification Dropship plus the pilot, also a close-up of the pilot, but we're gonna see how this guy is made later on the review. Of course, you have a kind of a blue, light blue background, so kind of like all the Heroes sets, like the Furnoback or the 6 Heroes canisters, which is different from the villain set, which is darker, of course. From the makers of Bionicle Characters logo, Dropship right in here, the L condition, and the set number, and I think that's quite all. So of course we got the Micro Hero City in the background, and it's look always pretty nice and really interesting box design. Then you can see on the upper side the 1:1 scale of the head of the pilot, of course, and then on this side you have the same pictures as the front of the Dropship as the front one, but this time of course with no background, and it's look pretty nice. And then we got the back side. So what we got here? Well, we got the usual fight scene. Oh, excuse me. More like this. Yeah, excuse me. The usual fight scene. So this time it's between the Dropship and, well, the two Violent Titan sets. So this means Water and Von Nebula with their logo and set numbers. Here you have also the name. Also notice some kind of ad for the 6 heroes right here, which is pretty nice with all the canisters put in line. And finally, on this part of the box, you have all the little gimmicks you can make with this set. So this means grabbing or throwing the heroes canister, but we're going to start later on. And then you got, of course, pictures with the heroes. Outside is, well, outside, yes, is Dropship. The kind of mid-axe Sky Blaster, which is the same stuff, well, it's the same parts, but of course it's got a different name in the storyline. And then the flapping wing stuff. But we're gonna see all of these interesting gimmicks in the review itself. So first of all, excuse me, I'm gonna talk about the instruction booklet. You can see here, excuse me, so you got two of them in fact, and well, you got numerous ads, I have to say numerous ads, excuse me. So you got this one, which is pretty nice, of course, the Furno one with the We Build Heroes motto. Oh well, excuse me, just the box falling off. And then you have the Preston Stormer ad with the map of Micro Hero City, so nothing really new. This Dropship is built in like 68 steps, right there. Then you got the parts list, and then a magnificent ad with all 6 heroes, and which in fact takes the same background as the William Furno ad. So this means you have all these mechanical arms, which in fact builds the heroes, and it looks pretty nice with the emphasis put on their code names, I can see, with Bulk, Stringer, Stormer, and stuff like this. Then a double page with the Von Nebula ad, so this means it's a fight between Stormer and Stormer, excuse me, Furno and Von Nebula, of course, the two leaders of the two teams, so the rookie and veteran teams. Then the ad with Furno on his back fighting against Water, and I think that's quite all because this is a Clone Wars ad then, and you got the win page. And finally, guys, I'm gonna talk about the set itself because of course it's the most important stuff of this review. And first of all, of course, the pilot. So on the shop item description, it doesn't really have any name, so it is just called the pilot. So here you go. I'm just gonna, oh, excuse me, adjust my webcam. So the pilot, of course, is made with the same hero torso plus some torso arms and well, some torso used as some new leg mods parts from the heroes. But as you can see on the arms, it's gonna be some character one arms, so nothing really new right here. Even the colors was released before on Berix. Yes, and the same in fact goes also for these legs which were released before in Present Storm. The same goes for the arms which were also released in Berix. Also notice the greater head in Night Trans Blue, excuse me. And finally, the feet, excuse me, which are black and which are not from the new Hero Factory mod. So this means there's some older feet, excuse me, and not the new ones. And also with this set, kind of like the Furno in the Furno bike set, you don't have any leg armor to put on his legs. But you have some interesting parts, so not like this one, because this one is the same torso armor we also got with Bulk, not excuse me, with Surge. So of course it's blue matter and well, it's blue matter, and the color scheme as you have seen is blue matter, light blue and black. But then here comes a new color of the hero core, which was released before in numerous trans-colored trans color, like for example trans orange, trans yellow. This time it's just silver, so it can be quite useful for mockers, I think. And then a new color is the Caxium mask, so no new mold but a mold from the 2009 Bionicle Vehicles line. So the one used by the guys in the Caxium set, but this time we colored in blue matter, and it looks pretty nice. So of course we're gonna, here comes little details. We're gonna link that to the upper axle hole, and here we go. We are done with this set. And for those who might wonder what look like this the bulk silver armor with silver hero core, here it goes. So it's just for mockers, in fact. So it can be useful if you want to kind of hide the H logo, which can be disturbing for some mockers. And it looks just pretty nice. And now I'm going to do a comparison with Surge, because Surge is also have some blue matter in its color shell, but you're gonna see that it's quite different. In fact, the two characters are quite different. So, excuse me. And here we go. It's a comparison with Surge. Maybe closer to my webcam. In fact, even if they share the same blue matter color, they are still quite different, I have to say, seriously, because of the parts used, like for example the arms and stuff like this. So here we go, that was the pilot, and well, it's quite interesting, but I think I'm going to talk about him later on the sum of this review, because of course, in Dropship, the most interesting part is the vehicle itself, which is right here. Excuse me. So I'm going to try to show you most of yes, the set in its full glory. So the color scheme, as you can see, is all yellow, as I've already said, excuse me, plus some light gray and also the new dark metal colors and some black colors and stuff like this. But the main colors are really light gray and all yellow. And I'm even going to turn around, and then I'm going to talk about the how you have to build this set, because well, in fact, it's quite easy. But first of all, let's turn around of the model. And then here we go. So the construction, in fact, is really simple, because it's quite the same as the other precedent Bionicle vehicles from 2008. This means we're gonna begin with the frame of the vehicle, with technique beams, of course. Many technique beams used in the frame. So, for example, to make kind of the floor of the ship, plus the handle, which will be useful if you want to swoosh around easily your vehicle set. Then I'm gonna put some technique beams right here, and then make the first some geared system for the gimmick. So some gear gimmick right here. You can see the two yellow gears, which will be useful to have a gimmick. But we're gonna see that later on the review. And while you just technique beams, then we're gonna link, I think, the front part, because the front part is then after adding the technique beams, you're gonna add this new technique panel. So this part, like this. So all this part from the cockpit, as you can see. Also notice the little seat, which is made with technique beams, really looking nice. Also the little details on the handles, which is made with some Lego system parts, really nice, with some rotation points, which is quite useful if you want to pose the hands of the pilot in a better way. What to say? So yes, we're gonna make the cockpit. Then we're gonna add some other technique panels, but this time on the wings. So we're gonna make the wings essentially. Well, excuse me. Most of the wings will be made with new technique panels with this grey one. Also notice you have to put stickers, so it's kind of like the stickers like here. Some nose art, so kind of like the real fighter. It's not airplane, but more like a jet fighter. So we got some nose art right here, like for example, the number of victims or the little pin-up on the front, and it's looking pretty nice. So really a great sense of details, and the same goes for the stickers put on the wings with all the little logos and stuff like that. And it's really looking pretty nice. But of course, if you don't want to put stickers because you want to reuse this part, it's up to you, in fact. Notice the little hose pipe right here, which goes on the wings. Also, this part, which is the tail of the plane, which is also made with some techniques panel right here. And then, what is the tail itself, made with two Kopaka blades, wings, excuse me, and some bark eyes in white. Also, notice another interesting part is the reactor part right here, made with some not tires, but this part which goes beyond under the tires, and then some power miners relays, and it's really awesome because we really have a great sense of not really power but energy coming from this reactor. Also notice the little wings on the side made with some, of course, made with some old parts already seen in 2008, like all these little wings and jetpack, but this time, of course, in a new dark metal color. The same goes also for the wings, which are most of the, I think, most of these parts are new colors, of course, for example, in light gray or in yellow. If you, for example, don't own any Technic sets, because I think these parts in yellow were already released before in some Technic set, but for those who don't know by this set, it's first for Bionicle or action figures collection. Yes, collectioners. And I think that's kind of for the construction. Yes, also then we're gonna put this little, not only wings, but this part which will be useful to grab the canister. So again, some Technic panels right here, then some laser right there. So nothing really interesting, nothing really new. And also notice the mid-axe Sky Blaster we use just on this part. So for those who want to have a symmetrical dropship, it's up to you to put a second one on on this section. And I think that's quite all for the dropship, guys. So if you just want to serve, if you don't really have understand me what I said, it's really simple. Seriously, we're gonna begin first to put some Technic beam to make the main body frame. Then on this Technic beams, we're gonna link the Technic panels, so the new one in yellow, for example, or also in gray for the wings which are mainly made with this Technic panels part. Also notice the little gimmick section which is right here with the little articulation gears and stuff like this. Also, I did not mention it, but you have the cockpit right there. And I think that's quite all for this set. For the construction, so the construction is not really interesting, I have to say. It's really your usual vehicle type of instruction. So this means building the frame and then putting some Technic panels and stuff like this. So nothing really interesting. But now we're going to talk about the gimmick. So the first gimmick is that you can pause your model because, of course, it just falls down. So you have to put down this part right here, which is made, of course, with Technic beams. And there, here you go, it's kind of paused. Even if I would have preferred to be like this and not like this, because it's still kind of bent a little on the front, I have to say. So it kind of look not really that good in my opinion, at least. Then you have the cockpit that you can open because there is a rotation point on this point at least. Because here you have to put off with your fingers. I mean, there is no gears behind the cockpit, in fact, to open it or to close it. It's just up to you and this rotation point. Also, I have already mentioned the little lever right here can turn in different positions, but that's really not really important at all. Then, of course, you have the mid-axe Sky Blaster, which can fire easily. So, like every mid-axe Sky Blaster released since 2008. And then finally, we arrive, to the gears part, which is really interesting because it features, well, it features kind of two gimmicks. So when I press it, so I press this trigger right here, as you can see, here what's happened. So first of all, we have this part which will be useful to grab the hero's canister. So for example, here's the Mark Surge one. I'm gonna put this, maybe we try this part first. I'm gonna put this like that, and then close, push the trigger, and here we go. You can see the trigger is, I push the triggers, and then I apply, and it's fall down, excuse me. So it's pretty nice. This is the grab function of the dropship, and then of course you have the wings function. So it just means, in fact, when I press it, the wings are gonna go, kind of sounds weird. Are gonna, of course, kind of. I don't think if you can say is yes, they're gonna rise. They're gonna rise up like this. Also notice the movement of the jetpack behind. Right here, and I think that's quite all for the dropship in terms of gimmicks, but that's still pretty nice. Then you have the, I'm gonna talk about the kind of the, not really the gimmicks, but the articulation of the pilot. So of course you got 5 versions for it here, 2 versions per arms or legs, so no big problems at all with these action figures. Then you got the head, which is of course mounted on a ball joint, and which can look down, up, or on the sides, like this. And well, I think that's quite all for the hero. At least the pilot. And then I'm gonna just do the comparison size between the dropship, excuse me, and the pilot itself. So here we go. Like this. But you can't really see the height of this stuff because it's quite big, I have to say, seriously. And now I'm gonna, so for example, this is a normal Hero 8, if I can say so. So if I put this on this part, so in fact it's more like 40 centimeters, so I don't really know how it's converted in inches, but it's like 40 centimeters, so try to search it on Google. So I'm gonna put down the Hero. In his cockpit, of course. So excuse me, guys. I'm gonna just come back right now. Just have something to do. So excuse me for this, guys, or just my little sister who want to go in my room, and that's quite disturbing when you're trying to make a review about this set, of course, and about any set, I have to say. So here we go, it's put down in his cockpit, so now I'm gonna try to close this part, which can be quite hard, putting him in his seat like this, and well, that's quite hard, I think, guys. Here you go, with the pilot in his dropship. So I'm going to do the turnaround of this set, and we'll be done, I think. And now I think I'm going to do a little sum up. So first of all, a little sum on the pilot itself. So nothing really new, because most of the parts are were used. It don't really have the new mod for the new heroes mod, like for example the leg armor or the new the new fit mod. But seriously, apart from that, this is a kind of not really a great action figure, but a good action figure, I have to say, because it still have 2 new recolored parts which can be pretty useful, and the overall color scheme is okay. The articulation are also the same as the other heroes. So seriously, I think it could really have been worse, because remember the guys from the Bionicle vehicles were kind of sometimes were kind of worse. For example, like the guys in the Jetwax, the intro version wasn't really that interesting apart from his new mask mod, but apart from that, seriously, it was quite not so interesting. So I'm quite happy with the pilot, because the blue color scheme fits him great, and he still have 2 new recolored parts, and it's look pretty well, not really pretty nice, but still pretty cool. And now, of course, for the dropship itself, so this set doesn't really have any drawback, apart maybe from some holes on the side, because this gears section is really empty when you look on the side with the wings raised up, because of course, if you look on the side, you can't really see the holes. And maybe apart from that, well, I don't really see any big problem, because yes, one of the little problem is maybe the construction, the building itself, which is not really that entertaining or really interesting, because it's just some frame made with Technic beams, and then we're gonna add some Technic panels on it. So seriously, nothing really interesting on this construction, apart maybe for the gears section, because for those who haven't built any bare nickel vehicle set before, I think it can be interesting, but apart from that, obviously, nothing to brag about or really awesome. But even if it doesn't really is interesting, even if it's not really interesting on the build section, it's really great on the overall design. Seriously, guys, this vehicle set is one of the best I have, and well, I already have to compare, because this one is aerial, not really, well, it's airplane, a dropship, so I can compare him, for example, to the Worko or to the J-Trax or Axela, which I own, and so this set is really a great set, because first of all, the color scheme is really interesting and quite new, because we have already seen the yellow kit orange or all yellow before in other sets, but with the light gray, it really look pretty, it's just look pretty colorful, and that's really nice for the Heroes vehicle, I have to say. And then you all this set is really compact, and it's really have an aerodynamical feeling. So it's just made of lines, pure lines, panels and stuff like that, which really make him not really soft, but it have a soft feeling. It's not like the parts are all about everywhere or put in a chaos. In chaos, it's really a well-made set, and well, it's also, I think the design is kind of more interesting, for example, the Axela or the Worko, which were kind of like some cylinder, big cylinder shaped vehicle, and this one got wings, this type of stuff, really nice cockpit, which you can put the guys in it. So it's really a departure. It's really different from the old bionicle air set we have see, 2008, and it's pretty great, I have to say. Seriously, I might have some problem with my English vocabulary, but guys, you have to know that this set is really a good one, with a pretty awesome overall design. Also, the gimmicks are interesting because of the grabbing stuff, which is pretty ingenious, and which will allow you to reuse your old canister and not putting them in your, for example, in your basement or stuff like this. And then also, I have to say that on the parts section is quite correct, because you have new dark metal parts everywhere from 2008, like the Compact wings or the reactors or the jetpack. And then, of course, you have all the panel parts, because if you don't put the stickers on it, you can easily reuse all these panels in your sets. And I think that could be useful. And I think that's all, guys, for this review. So excuse me if I wasn't really clear with my stump on this set, but we really have to know that for this price, for example, I paid like 45 euros for this set, and I am the first one to complain about the price too high. For example, yes, I'm just the first one to complain on some price I have to pay. For example, the funnel bike, I would have preferred to be like more like 20 euros and not 25. And seriously, for this set, guys, I'm not gonna say I'm glad to have paid 45 euros, but I think it's worth the 45 euros I paid for this set, because it's really a wonderful set. Excuse me. Seriously, the overall design is really great. It's a compact set, a big one, and it's just, well, it's really a good one. Seriously, that's one of my favorite Hero Factory set, even if it doesn't really use any new heroes or new modded parts, for example, the leg armor for the hero or stuff like that, is really one of my favorites. Seriously, because well, I'm gonna do the sum on the Hero Factory line, because, well, the Hero Factory line, the 2010 line we have, because I already all the sets, except for the special edition bulk and vapor set. Well, all the sets they were pretty ingenious. So there were really some great ideas, but on most of the set, they were bad ideas. So it's really a problem with Hero Factory that most of the set seems to have some really interesting points, some interesting design and stuff like that. And finally, there is really many mistakes in the set. Like for example, the bad guys, we just got like 2 points of articulation, or the Titan set, we just don't really seem to be Titans anymore, or maybe the heroes which all look the same, or stuff like this. Or seriously, the Hero Factory line, the main problem I have with the Hero Factory, because I'm not like of this many fans which complains and which just whine many tons of months about the loss of Bionicle to the new Hero Factory line. So see, I'm not one of this guy, because I'm quite proud that Bionicle ended. I mean, I followed Bionicle since 2001, so seriously, I think it was a good idea to finish Bionicle, at least in the set form, because the storyline, of course, continues and goes on thanks to Greg Farstein for the serials on internet. And seriously, I was quite happy to have the new Hero Factory line. And well, my sum on this line is that it's really full of great ideas, it's really have a great potential, seriously, but they made tons of mistakes on the set, and I don't really understand why, seriously. So I really hope that in 2011, when we got the new Heroes Factory here, they're gonna solve all this problem, because this line could really be an excellent line and outpass Bionicle, because well, the last year of Bionicle, the last real year of Bionicle in 2009 was pretty great, I have to say. There was no really big drawback on this line, and I think that Hero Factory can outpass this line, but they can do this, and seriously, I hope they will solve the little problems there with on the Titan or villain set, because well, it was a kind of a great first year for Hero Factory, but still many problems. And I think if they solve these problems, Hero Factory can be a great line. Seriously, I'm not lying, guys, right here. It can be a great line. And so, to come back on this set is really a good set for me, because it doesn't really have any big drawbacks in comparison, for example, to the villain set or other set like this. This set doesn't really have any drawbacks. It's a well finished set. It doesn't have any articulation problem. Of course, it can't really have articulation problem, but I mean, it doesn't really have any big flaws, and that's why this set is one of my favorite set, one of my favorite Hero Factory set of 2010. And that's why, guys, I can recommend you to buy this set if you like vehicle, of course, because if you don't really like vehicle set, it's, well, just do not buy this set, because you will not be pleased with this set. But seriously, guys, this is a great set. And I think that will be also. Hope you enjoy all this Hero Factory video reviews, guys. Hope also you enjoy all this set. I have made my sum up on this line, so seriously, I'm really looking forward to the 2011 year, because I really think LEGO can make a great line. So we'll see that in 2011 if they choose to just stay on their position and still make, for example, two ball jumps on the villain set and stuff like that, or if they decide to evolve and really to make great set, because I think the sets were quite cool, but really with many problems, and I think they can really make excellent. They can really make them excellent if they want to. So that's all, guys. Hope you enjoyed this review. Hope you enjoy, all of my reviews on Hero Factory, and well, see you later for another video review on Bionicle or other stuff like this, some LEGO stuff. That's all. So hope you enjoy, and bye bye.